Airline customers are really struggling with the moment. We have a lot of people coming to Choice complaining about the fact that their flights are delayed, that their flights are cancelled without notice, and they're being stranded in foreign countries.
So what are some of the nightmare stories that you've come across, and how much money can people be out of pocket as a result of this?
Well, people can really be out of pocket a lot of money for things like just accommodation. If, for example, they have a flight scheduled to leave Bali or Fiji and the flight doesn't leave that particular day, if it leaves the next day, then people are going to be out of pocket for the accommodation overnight. We've seen also on the ABC that we had people who had flights rerouted via several airports, so they took on the cost of trying to store their baggage and paying for meals and paying for accommodation at several destinations.
And what level of protection is there for customers now?
The existing level of protection that we have isn't great. We've seen during the last few years of the lockdowns that the existing Australian consumer law protections haven't really helped a lot of Australian travellers. They've been left stranded quite literally. So what we really need is just clearer conditions for Australian travellers, which really specify what people are entitled to if a flight is cancelled, for example, or delayed for a very long time.
So airlines often offer airline customers a flight credit, but are customers eligible for a refund or for compensation if they would prefer that?
So if the airline actually cancels your flight, some of the major Australian airlines will offer you a refund. Some of the problems that we had early in the travel lockdowns, that even though the airlines had that in their fine print, they weren't telling customers that up front. So airlines really need to be honest up front what customers are entitled to. Not all the airlines will offer a refund. Some of them might offer a voucher if the flight is cancelled. But even if the flight is cancelled for other reasons or delayed, many of the airlines will offer travel vouchers. People just need to understand up front what they're entitled to, which is why Choice is asking for mandated information which tells people what they're entitled to when they actually have a problem.
So is it that the protections are there, Jodi, it's just that people don't know about them?
Well, some of the protections are really quite poor. So, for example, when it comes to compensation, we see that for flights that are delayed for 3 hours or more or even cancelled, a lot of the time people are still left out of pocket through no fault of their own. So what we think is that Choice thinks that the airlines should have a legislated level of compensation where people are told what they're entitled to, and it's just made clear across the board what people can get if their flight is delayed or cancelled.
It's also an issue, Jodi, with the whole complaint system.
Yeah, the complaint system is another problem. So the problem with the airline service at the moment, that it's so bad that many people have had to go to state consumer affairs bodies to complain. And the problem with that is that obviously the taxpayers are then paying for the airline's poor service. So even if you're not flying, you're paying for the poor service of the airlines. And a lot of the time, the fair trading then put the onus, or the consumer affairs bodies put the onus back onto the customer. They have to go through arbitration and different tribunals. That can take a lot of money and a lot of time. So it really makes it difficult for people to find an appropriate remedy. Choice thinks that there should be a airline ombudsman or a travel industry ombudsman, which really has the power to make decisions on what the airlines should be doing in terms of resolving complaints for consumers.